stories about kids who did little tricks when their parents' friends came by. They'd play the piano or dance or recite a poem. When I was 3 and my parents' friends came over, I rolled their joints for them. When you live with dope, you started early. By the time I was in 4th grade, I was smoking nearly every day. Before I was out of junior high, I was dealing over $100 worth of weed a day, smoking nearly half of it myself. Then I found angel dust, and that PCP on a joint was just what I needed. Mom caught me at it about that time.
Janice, what are you dusting that with?
Seasoning salt.
Don't you be smart. Is that PCP?
What if it is?
Well, then I suggest you flush it.
Not likely.
Hallucinations or not, you forget about angel dust. That stuff will flash on you.
You have to remember that this was coming from a woman who'd gone through life with a beer in one hand and a reefer in the other. Her worrying didn't worry me. I got to be a duster deluxe. Never dealt it though. I was afraid I'd run out. Not that I didn't share. That's what got me busted. I sold some weed to a friend and dusted a J for her. We got stoned before school, but she went weird in class, started screaming. They found the stuff in her purse. They told her they'd let her off if she narked the pusher. She narked.
It is the verdict of this court that you are guilty as charged on both counts of delivery of controlled substance. Your punishment is as follows. You will serve 2 years at the State Correctional School for Girls at Hopkins. However, as this is your first offense, I will offer you an alternative. Your punishment will be 3 years juvenile probation if you agree to work 16 hours each weekend at the chemical abuse wing of the Children's Psychiatric Center.
Jails don't appeal to me, so I took it. I didn't know that there are different kinds of jails. The drug wing at Children's is one of the worst.
Grab a burn from that closet. I'll unlock the vegetable bin for you.
The vegetable bin?
You'll see.
She opened the door. I saw the vegetable bin. It was a ward full of the most pitiful people I had ever seen. Most of them PCP flashers who would never be outside again. They looked like beaten, starving dogs, and every one of them had their own pain. One boy kept flashing that there were fire ants inside his fingers. He would slam his hands against the floor over and over again. He'd broken every bone in his hands, but the flashes were so regular, he never had any time to heal. Had to be fed by an orderly. One girl couldn't speak. A few years earlier, she'd woken up flashing that her tongue was a tarantula. She'd ripped it out. They found it on the floor across the room the next morning. But she kept on flashing the same thing, over and over. She would claw at the inside of her mouth so much that the marks even showed on the outside. A few of them didn't have the strength left to do anything, so they would strap down to their beds. But every so often, you would hear them gagging, and you would know that their flashes were back. I saw what the judge was after. I quit dust and weed that day. My folks were still smoking all the time, so I moved in with my grandmother. It was nice living someplace where you knew the only thing in the brownies was chocolate. In a month or so, my grades were on the way up, and I was getting into some really square stuff like school dances and basketball games and passing dumb, embarrassing notes about guys. I was through with the weed, and I was through with the PCP. But the PCP wasn't through with me. I went to bed at 10 o'clock on January 16th, the 40th day I'd been clean. At 2 a.m. I woke up. There were rats chewing behind my eyes. I slammed my head with my fist, trying to get them to stop, but they just kept on chewing. At 4:30, I found my grandmother's knitting needles. At 4:33, I shoved them into my eyes. I kept shoving until the rats quit chewing. They put me in Children's for a while.